You also say that you love reality TV, which is
Mhm.
fabulous. We are fans of reality TV here at So Sorry for
Oh,
Your Loss. And you
okay.
map it back to systems of oppression and collective need for community. Explain.
Yeah, I know. This is everyone's permission. Well, first of all, I think a lot of us feel a soothing of our nervous systems by watching like people
Hmm.
argue about stupid shit
Someone
on
else's drama. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So my like favorite is Housewives.
Mm.
Every franchise I love, love, love. But I've been asking myself, I mean, each franchise is kind of different and has different like, but I like that expressions of a community, like even like the style, the plastic surgery, the hairstyle, like everything, like it's an expression of that individual's community's like way to look in order to belong.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I understand these are people's lives. I also understand they're like slightly narcissistic and they're playing a part. And like, there's so much to unpack there. But
Uh huh.
I bring this lens of like, okay, but this is the reason this is resonating is for so many of us, we have experiences of this in the micro. There is a way in which we all want to have that like girls trip to
The
the
Hamptons.
Hamptons.
Yeah.
There's a way we love watching them have leisure time and unlimited resources.
Oh, 100%.
There's a way in which it's relieving and soothing to the ways we are operating our lives. It's wish fulfillment.
Hmm.
And I noticed that in my own life. And I've had so many conversations with my husband who's like, this is trash. And I'm like, okay, fine. Yeah. But it's actually really important for me to like calm my nervous system,
Uh huh.
instead of doom scrolling.
It's
Like,
mindless too. You can just sit and watch it. You don't have to like turn on all these back parts of the brains that have to be like very engaged and very, just I don't even know how to explain it. It's just mindless and it's nice.
it's mindless. And yet I find the storylines kind of stick with me.
They
I mean,
do. That's interesting. Yeah.
yeah. And even just like the way they have like petty fights. And I'm like, wow, look, the patriarchy is still running through them, the way
Hmm.
they're like making fun of each other about their sexuality or the way Larsa attacked, the women about having children out of
Out of
wedlock and how
wedlock.
that's
Ugh, yeah.
rooted in a patriarchal system that makes it that a woman isn't safe unless she's married and has a child. Like
Hmm.
that's going back to like what bastard children are somehow not a part of the
Less than.
lineage.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, look at how this is still present. That really helps me, I think, maybe justify it. But yeah, I find it soothing and interesting.
Interesting. Yeah. I find myself gravitating more to some of the shows where, and I wish more would do this, where like, let me just see a group of friends getting along and having fun and doing their thing.
Is that what you really want though?
Kind of. I find that they like, that makes me feel better. Like there are some shows that I've watched where I'm like, they literally do nothing but have the dumbest fights and they scream at each other all day long.
Yeah. New
That's not fun
Jersey.
to watch. Yeah. I don't watch that. There was like a season of Below Deck recently that was like that I just
Uh-huh.
didn't even care to watch. But there was one show on Netflix that was basically like a house of people. I think they were based in Austin and like their goal was to all find love and they were like helping each other through it. I never watched it, but I saw the trailer for it and I was like, now that's something that I would like to see.
Actually, that's why I love the Great British Baking Show.
Oh, yes.
Because it's still dramatic. Like, oh my
Right.
God, the
I'm here
time is
for some
running out
drama.
and their icing
Yeah.
is melting because it's too hot in the tent because it's summer in Britain. Oh my
Uh-huh.
God. And then
Uh-huh.
someone's like, let me help you. And I do like, that's true. Yeah. There's actually a threshold I find for the trauma I can watch.
Yes.
Like, I remember I was
Maybe
watching
that's
this
what it
one
is.
show
Yeah.
and I watched them screaming at each other. And I just thought, I can't, this hurts me.
Do you watch Summer House?
Well, listen, I haven't, but you're like the 10th person to recommend
Oh,
it.
you
So I
gotta watch
guess
it.
I will
You
be.
got to watch it. Yeah. This season has been very nice. I think that the drama level has been at like a 6 or a 7, like still just enough to like remain interesting and whet my palate, but it's not overbearing and people are screaming at just dumb things.
Oh, it gets
and
too dark.
Yes. Yeah.
Either dumb things or too dark. Yeah.
Hmm.
Okay. I'll give it a
Hmm.
try.
Yeah.
Are you watching Salt Lake City?
I almost feel like I should because I see so much of it on Instagram
That's just up right now. Just curious.
yeah. Yeah. Well, I know everything going on with Jen Shaw
I mean, who doesn't?
and right, getting arrested. I mean, all these housewives
I know.
getting arrested.
And then
basically.
that is really interesting from like a economic perspective because like there is such, this aspirational, like these women are so rich and then they feel like they need to, I mean, a lot of them end up going bankrupt or having
Mhm.
like, fraud scandals because of this needing to appear wealthy. And I
Yeah.
think Jen Shaw is one of these people who is like that. Will,
Yeah.
will allegedly, we'll see, but it seems like it. And so I've just been engaged in conversations where people are like, well, we're just like making this happen. I'm like, no, this is happening everywhere. This keeping up with the Joneses, this like,
Oh,
why
yeah.
are we, that's how we want to belong, is like this appearance of wealth and this aspirational way of
Well, I
being.
think the pandemic fed into that too, because once that was all stripped away and it didn't matter if you were wearing Prada, it mattered if you had access to Purell, the
Yeah.
antibacterial, like all of a
And
sudden
toilet paper.
people, yeah, people were stripped of like what gave them purpose.
Yeah.
And their rankings in the community basically were
It shifted everything.
taken away.
Totally.
So
Well,
now
it was
people are like
like,
fighting to get that back again as things
it
are
does
starting to
feel
come a
that
little bit
way.
normal. Yeah.
It does feel that way. See, it just feeds all these cool
It's
conversations.
all intertwined. Yeah. And as much as we shit on like social media and the connectedness of that earlier, I do think that is a fun way to basically have this community if you are a part of these reality TV shows and you love them. Like I love going on and seeing like, oh, what are people saying? And oh, how did people react to this one
Yeah.
part of the episode? Because that was insane. Did everybody else think that was insane? And
Yeah.
just seeing that is a cool way to be a part of a community. But again, it's just a bunch of people behind a computer. You don't even really see their face. And it would be nice if it were more
It's the both and.
connected. Yeah,
It's
yeah,
the both and of life. Yeah.
yeah,
I think, yeah, there's so much being said about social media, and I have not left social media, but I do think that there are healthy and unhealthy ways to interact with it.
yeah, absolutely. Any other
Mm.
pop culture things that you think are important in this journey of connectivity and understanding your roots? Like, are there any shows that really highlight this meaning for you?
I mean, I really like those survival shows where
Mm.
like like Naked and Afraid
Naked
or
and
whatever.
Afraid?
It just, they only really survive when they work together.
Hmm.
And this is so basic, but it's actually something we often forget because we're such like, I don't need help.
Yeah.
I don't need help. I'm fine. I'll
Oh,
figure it out on
what
my
a
own.
great point that is of how much we think we can do on our own, and then
Yeah.
how that feeds into grief. And we think that we don't need others sometimes, or we don't need therapy, we don't need medication, we can do this ourselves.
Yeah.
And like, why though?
And then we say, oh, she's so strong.
Yeah, yeah,
What?
yeah.
What does that even mean? Yeah. So I watch these shows and I'm just like, oh, literally to survive. Like I just think about, we are animal bodies, we are primal bodies that do not develop as quick as computers, So
Mhm.
this is why I think we need to wail and shake. And so if I see these like people naked in the wild who are just trying to feed themselves, it's when they work together that they live. I'm just like, there it is.
Uh-huh. We really are. We're all animals at the end of the day.